Good evening. Good evening, everyone. We'll be beginning here in just a moment. Everyone can please get their seats. And I apologize, I can't see you all, but I know you're all there, so. All right. Well, let me begin again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Center for Migration Studies 2022 Hybrid Annual Gala. My name is Karen Grisey. And I'm the chair of the Center for Migration Studies Board of Trustees. And I'm delighted and honored to serve as Master of Ceremonies for tonight's celebration. This evening, we celebrate CMS, a think tank and educational institute based here in New York City. CMS offers world-class research, thought-provoking educational events, and leading publications for policymakers, immigrant-serving agencies, advocates, and the public to promote the rights and dignity of migrants, refugees, and newcomers. CMS works with academics, researchers, public officials, policymakers, service providers, advocates, refugees, and immigrants themselves. It has been at the leading edge of the major national and global debate on refugees, forced migration, the undocumented, human development, and national security. Through these activities, CMS has generated a vast body of scholarship and policy proposals on a wide range of national and international migration issues. This evening, we are also pleased to celebrate the achievements of 4 distinguished honorees, and you'll get to learn more about all of them tonight. First now, I'm pleased to welcome Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio to the stage for our invocation. Bishop DiMarzio is our immediate past board chair and a member of the CMS Board of Trustees. He's also the Bishop Emeritus of Brooklyn. So welcome, Bishop DiMarzio.
We would not be here tonight if it were not for the vision of a man who was born at the beginning of the last century, St. John Baptist Scalabrini. St. John Baptist Scalabrini was declared a saint, actually, just this year, October the 9th. He had been a blessed. The Holy Father canonized him and gave a wonderful homily speaking about the migrants today. But this saintly man also, I say, was a genius, because in the constitutions of the order that he established for the care of migrants, and it was Italians in that day that he was concerned about, people leaving his own diocese and other Italians in Italy. Yes, these people, he understood they needed pastoral care, but also they needed some science to explain to those who would care for them what the reality of migration was about. And so he said in the pastoral constitutions of the order, every order, every province should have a Center for Migration Studies. And that's why we have the Center for Migration Studies. It was his vision over 100 years ago to say we need to study migration. Sociology was hardly a science at the beginning of the 19th century, but he had the wisdom and the inspiration from God, I'm sure, to say, study the phenomenon so you can better serve the people. So tonight we salute the Scalabrinians who are here from the Provincial Council tonight. We thank you so much for being with us. You're your inspiration for the center, and they support the center in many, many ways. So tonight I want to pray especially to St. Scalabrini to assist us in the continued work of this center. Scalabrini had a partner. He recruited a woman named Frances Cabrini. There's a statue of her about a block down here, the new statue that was put in 2 years ago through the efforts of ex-Governor Cuomo. Yes, the woman was inspired by him, and they worked together for the care of migrants. We want that same inspiration to come to us to make sure that we do all we can for the migrants of this day, for the new migrants coming from all over the world. We studied today about the new refugee situations of the Ukrainians, of the people of Venezuela, of the Afghanis that came. Every age seems to create more movement of peoples. We need to understand it, and that's what the center is about. And so we pray in that spirit. O St. John's Baptist Scalabrini, with the heart of a bishop and the zeal of an apostle, you gave yourself completely to those whom you served. You listened to the cries of the migrants. You spoke in their name and defended their rights. You found your sustenance in your faith and your solace in the cross of the Lord Jesus. We ask tonight that we too have the wisdom you had at one time to continue working to defend migrants and all the conditions in which they find themselves. We ask that blessing and upon this meal through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Don Kerwin. I'm the director of the Center for Migration Studies. And we're going to show a short video about our work, but let me say a few words about it now. CMS is a think tank that's trying to build and to strengthen a community that's devoted to facts, to values, to good policy ideas, and above all, to immigrants and refugees. If you're here, we're counting you as a member of that community. Our tools are leading journals, educational events, research with community partners, data, and an archive which is packed with immigration history. We operate like a traditional think tank, but we try to make the starting point of our work the immigrants themselves, the people at the heart of the phenomenon. We care about their agency, their aspirations, their participation, their insights, and their struggles. We want the work to be rigorous, but we also want it to be useful to immigrants, stateless people, people without status, and other people. People is the common denominator for us. So it's about people, and what we do is person-centered work. Second, we're very explicit about our values: human dignity, human rights, human security, the common good, and a commitment to inclusive policies. These values underlie our events, our programs, and all of our partnerships. We take public policy work very seriously. We've published a body of work that offers a blueprint for broad reform of our immigration system, for our refugee system, and for our immigration enforcement systems. We also benefit greatly from our position in the Scalabrini community and universe of shelters, welcoming centers, study centers, and ministries and programs of every kind. And more broadly, we try to be in service as a gift of the congregation to Catholic and other faith-based institutions. So before we show this short video, which was produced by a terrific intern of ours named Mara Mahmood, let me thank our core team that's here with us tonight. I'm not going to identify them by name, but thank you to our board members, to our past and present staff who are here, to our past and present editors of our journals who are here, to fellows, to key contractors, and to our broader Scalabrini family. Thanks to all of you for being with us. So let's turn to the video now.
The Center for Migration Studies of New York, CMS, is a leading think tank and educational institute on international migration. The Congregation of the Missionaries of St. Charles Borromeo Scalabrinians was founded by newly canonized St. Jean-Baptiste Scalabrini in 1887 to serve and accompany migrants. Established by the same organization in 1964 and following their legacy, CMS is devoted to the promotion of understanding between immigrants and receiving communities and to public policies that safeguard the dignity and rights of migrants, refugees, and newcomers. Over the last year, CMS has increased its efforts to promote rights-respecting policies and to ensure that immigrants who are eligible for legal status and for public benefits and services can access them. In February 2022, CMS published a paper that profiled 40 immigrant populations who are eligible for Temporary Protected Status, TPS, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, and other administrative programs, as well as those who would be eligible for legalization under pending legislation. This report kickstarted an important CMS initiative that offers customized data reports on immigrants that public agencies, faith communities, or community-based organizations wish to serve or serve better. Over the course of the year, CMS also released important studies on fear and other barriers to immigrants accessing New York City programs, services, and benefits, roadblocks faced by immigrants in accessing construction work in New York City, and on the social determinants of health in Brooklyn and Queens. CMS is a thought leader on international migration. In its annual academic and policy conference in late 2021, CMS featured a series of discussions and dialogue among scholars, researchers, and public officials on forced migration, the future of work, data ethics and sharing, and issues receiving insufficient attention in the U.S. immigration debate. CMS also continued to promote evidence-based policy solutions in its Journal on Migration and Human Security, with articles on integration of Venezuelan migrants, the mistreatment of child migrants, U.S. border enforcement policies, and development and migration from ethical perspectives. These peer-reviewed articles offer cutting-edge research and make evidence-based public policy proposals. CMS's premier social science journal, the International Migration Review, is the leading scholarly journal in the field of international migration, ethnic group relations, and refugee movements. In 2022, the International Migration Review obtained the highest impact factor rating in history of any journal on international migration. A preeminent institution in the academic and policy space on migration, CMS is an authoritative source for journalists. CMS's data on immigrant populations, for example, has been cited by the New York Times, the Associated Press, NPR, the Washington Post, CNN, the Wall Street Journal, the Marshall Project, and many other news sources. This year, CMS released its revamped weekly newsletter, Migration Update, which offers policy updates, faith reflections, and news summaries. CMS also launched its redesigned website, which serves as a hub for all the agency's work. The CMS archive includes collections on immigrants processed through Ellis Island, forcibly displaced persons after World War II, New York's Italian-American community, and Catholic leaders and immigrant-serving agencies. In recent years, the archive has assisted not only scholars but also dozens of people in discovering their ancestors' migration stories. CMS has also published blogs that feature archive content and connect to migration policy then and now. In all of its work, CMS is committed to bringing facts, values, and strong policy ideas to the public conversation on immigration and refugee protection. Above all, it seeks to honor the dignity and resilience of migrants.
Wow, wasn't that a wonderful video? Let me ask you to give thanks again to all those involved in producing it. Tonight, we consider our theme of building our common home. Our honorees, who have made the United States a welcoming place for countless immigrants and refugees, are leading the way to this new day. Tonight, as we celebrate the achievements and contributions of those seeking to welcome newcomers, I ask you to consider joining me in making a donation to support CMS's important work. As a person-centered think tank, and you've now heard the person part a few times, which we sometimes call a think and do tank, CMS promotes evidence-based policies and provides expert support to immigrant-serving and advocacy agencies. For example, CMS is a member of the Ready to Stay Coalition and the Refugee Council USA, directly supporting the Scalabrini Network, service providers, and advocates that serve refugees, asylum seekers, unaccompanied children, and others. We cannot do this work without your generosity. To donate, for those online, please see the donation link on our website, right underneath tonight's live stream window. To those attending in person, please scan the QR code at the bottom of the menu with the camera on your phone. I thank you for considering becoming a CMS supporter and sustaining our work. As we look forward to the upcoming year, we're filled with hope in carrying forward our mission and building a community devoted to evidence-based public policies and human dignity. To give, please take a moment to click on the link below your live stream window or scan the QR code on your menu. Thank you.
We need to get back the menus. Sorry about that, so that you can do that. I don't know if we can bring those back out. So we're delighted to have 4 honorees tonight. 2 of them will be remote, and 2 of them we're fortunate to have with us here. The first is Jamie Winders. CMS has benefited from a series of terrific editors of its flagship journal, the International Migration Review. 2 of them are here tonight, our current editor, Holly Reed, and a past editor, Ellen Percy Crayley. So it's great to have you. Jamie Winders is a professor of geography and director of the Autonomous Systems Policy Institute at Syracuse University. She's a leading scholar on international migration. She served for many years on our editorial board and is a book review editor for the International Migration Review. She was appointed editor-in-chief of IMR beginning in October of 2017, and she held that position until June of 2022. She stepped down after being appointed to the position of Associate Provost for Faculty Affairs at Syracuse University. Jamie was an extraordinarily successful steward of the journal during the COVID-19 period when IMR experienced massive increases in submissions, and she was also a great innovator at the journal. We're very grateful for Jamie's service to CMS, to IMR, and to the broader immigrant studies field. And we're pleased to honor her tonight with our Excellence in International Migration Studies Award.
Hi, Jamie. I hear that you're being recognized by the Center for Migration Studies tonight. For those of you who don't know, in addition to being a great scholar, Jamie is also a superb teacher, a great university citizen, and also an exceptional academic administrator. In her service as Associate Provost at Syracuse University, she really puts the interest of the faculty first. And that's something that comes from somebody who's been such a successful faculty member herself. It also, of course, helps that she has a wicked sense of humor. So, Jamie, congratulations. It's wonderful to see you recognized for your distinctive excellence in migration studies. Take care.
Hi. Let me say thank you to CMS for this award. I'm so sorry I can't be there in person to celebrate with all of you, but I also want to thank CMS for letting me be a part of the IMR team. Working with IMR was an amazing experience. It's a foundational journal in migration studies with this really powerful history of using research to improve the lives of migrants. Being part of the IMR team enabled me to work with incredible authors and reviewers, with a fabulous group of associate editors, an amazing editorial team, a group of really committed and supportive editorial board members, and it was just a real honor to be part of this work for several years. You know, it's also a real honor, and I'm so appreciative of being able to work with CMS and IMR folks who are so committed to supporting migrants. We're in a moment, and maybe we've been in this moment for a long time, where migrants in so many places are under attack, and where the myths about migration are doing a lot of damage in the world around us. And IMR and CMS both play really crucial roles in speaking truths about migration, about its impacts, about its causes, about migrant experiences, about the places they're leaving and the places they're going, about their children. And this work is so important in this moment to speak these truths and to use them to counter these myths that we hear about migration. I will miss working with the CMS team. Maybe I don't miss the endless stream of manuscripts that IMR has, but the journal's in great hands with Holly. She's already doing really exciting work. And I just want to, again, thank CMS for this honor.
Our second award goes to Marla Assis. Marla Assis is a sociologist, and she's the executive director of the Scalabrini Migration Center, or SMC, in Manila, the Philippines. SMC is a research center dedicated to the study of migration in the Asia-Pacific region. It's one of our sister organizations. We've collaborated with Marla on a range of projects, including a large project on migration, Laudato Si, and the future of work. As director of SMC, Marla served as editor of the Asian and Pacific Migration Journal. Among her recently completed research projects are explorations of Filipino father carers in transnational families, agriculture as an alternative to international migration for young Filipinos, and Southeast Asian fishers on Taiwanese fishing vessels. She's been a good friend and colleague and a calm presence for many years, and we're pleased to honor her tonight with our award for excellence in international migration scholarship.
I would like to commend the Center for Migration Studies for the decision to give the annual award for scholarly excellence to Maruja Assis. I had the honor to work with her for many years in the Philippines in the Scalabrini Migration Centers in Quezon City. And I still am honored to work with her in the dicastery for promoting integral human development. Actually, Pope Francis decided to appoint her as official consultant of the dicastery. I would like to thank Marla for the wonderful work that she has been doing during the past year on migration issues, for the professionalism, and for the great capacity of understanding a very difficult and complex reality. And I would like also to thank Marla for the very good friendship that she extended and gifted to me during the past years. Marla, congratulations and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am deeply honored, humbled, and immensely thankful for this Excellence in International Migration Scholarship Award from the Center for Migration Studies. I am sorry I am unable to be with you due to pressing work commitments in Manila. This award is extra special to me because the Center for Migration Studies played a crucial role in shaping my academic journey. It is a connection that goes back to the mid-1980s when I was pursuing a PhD in sociology in Bowling Green State University, Ohio. I was fortunate to participate in the 1986 Summer Seminar on International Migration at the East-West Population Institute in Honolulu. Jim Fawcett, Bob Gardner, and Fred Arnold put together a great program and invited brilliant migration scholars as resource speakers. And that summer seminar proved to be my eureka moment. I decided then that I will focus on migration for my dissertation. CMS came into the picture through the International Migration Review and CMS publications. The 1984 special issue on women in migration inspired me to work on female migration, comparing the occupational intentions of Filipino and Korean women in the U.S. That special issue and the one on migration theories guided me in my work. The publications of CMS, notably Pacific Bridges, which was co-edited by Jim Fawcett and Ben Carino, Antonio Pito's book on Filipinos in the U.S., and Shiro Saito's annotated bibliography on Filipinos overseas were truly heaven sent. Thus, to me, CMS was some kind of a mythical place that I dreamt of visiting. I take advantage of this opportunity now to thank the dedicated people behind CMS, past and present, for the excellent work that they have been doing through the decades. This award would not have been possible without the generous support that I have been blessed with throughout my academic training and work. Producing research-based knowledge is a collective process that is fostered by the contributions of many people and institutions. Our work at the Scalabrini Migration Center has thrived because of the support and cooperation of fellow researchers, partners from various institutions representing different sectors, organizations that provide funding assistance, and research participants who trust us in sharing their experiences and views. In a special way, I am grateful to colleagues in the Scalabrini Migration Center for the fruitful partnership, trust, and friendship in the last 25 years. Special thanks go to my family and friends for their constant love. As a researcher, I take to heart a comment that migrants and research participants would often make when we invite them to participate in our research. They would say, "Another study? I have participated in many studies, but what has changed?" I am humbled and challenged and inspired by this question, and it compels me to participate meaningfully in knowledge production that would hopefully contribute towards the making of inclusive societies where migrants have their rightful place. The work continues. We keep the faith. Thank you very much.
I wonder if I could ask our current chair, Karen Grisey, and our past chair, Bishop DiMarzio, to come up now. Let's see if we can get that. This is an award for Hiroko Kasuda. In the early 2000s, the Catholic Legal Immigration Network was looking for an attorney who could respond to the massive challenge of immigrant detention in Louisiana, particularly in the large federal facility in Oakdale, Louisiana, which was basically a nut that service providers had tried to crack for many years but had been unable to. But the job didn't just encompass the Oakdale detention facility, but also the parish jails in New Orleans and throughout Louisiana and across the Gulf Coast as well. Clinic hired Hiroko Kasuda, one attorney, an immigrant, after Katrina, a forced migrant herself, to build a legal response to this immense need. This is what she did. She represented hundreds of detained immigrants at the Oakdale Immigration Court, and she began to conduct Know Your Rights presentations throughout Louisiana. She co-founded the Louisiana Immigration Representation Working Group, which consists of lawyers from all walks of the profession with the goal of increasing legal representation to immigrants in Louisiana. She managed Clinic's Louisiana Deportation and Detention Representation Project in the Gulf South after Hurricane Katrina and Rita. In 2008, just 6 years after starting at Clinic, ICE arrested 595 workers in a massive raid at a manufacturing plant in Laurel, Mississippi. By then, Professor Kasuda had created a network of attorneys that was so large and ambitious that they visited every single one of the people that were arrested in that raid. She's now clinic professor and director of the Immigration Law Center of Loyola University, New Orleans College of Law, and their Center for Social Justice. I cannot think of anyone who has done more to build legal capacity for immigrants in very trying conditions than Hiroko, and who has done it all with great grace. It's a privilege to honor her this evening with our Humanitarian Service Award.
So nobody told me that I had to make a speech. And today, I was just only prepared to do a very depressing speech at the panel at the conference. Father DiMaggio confirmed that I was very depressing. But I think I have to thank CMS, especially personally Don Kerwin, who picked me, just a simple-minded corporate lawyer, out of many people who wanted to join clinic to do a detention project, as the only nonprofit immigration lawyer in the entire state of Louisiana. And I had a potential client of about 2,000 at the time, and there's only male detainees existed during that time. And every time I went to detention center in Oakdale, people asked me, "Are you visiting your boyfriend? And how old are you?" And every time I said, "Well, it's none of your business," they made me wait 3 hours in the waiting area because to punish me. But those days are great memories. I circuit ride many parish jails. We call it parish, right? You guys call it county. It's just amazing that I don't know, hundreds of miles I racked up. I used my little Nissan Sentra. I don't know how many hundreds of miles I drove that car. Actually ended up dying, but I met hundreds of different wonderful people in detention centers. And thanks to Don and the clinic and colleagues that I met throughout my journey is invaluable. I was just one of a dozen detention attorneys basically doing exactly the same thing that I was doing. Everybody was in the same situation. Everybody commiserated. Maybe we're not making a dent in this horrendous detention issues, but at least we felt like we're doing something at the time. And also had a taste of an internally displaced person within the United States after Katrina displaced me and my family members, and hundreds of people, thousands of New Orleanians and people from Lake Charles and Lafayette, because of 2 devastating hurricanes. And I realized that you don't have any bearing. You don't know where you are. You have no idea where to start building networks and friendships. And it was just a few months of being displaced out of my own elements, but it was good enough for me to understand the people coming from all over the world seeking refuge in this country. I think to this day, I feel like I made a lifetime friends. Among all the friends that I made in detention centers, I remember every single person that I met. I remember this Jamaican detainee who was abused in detention center because the ICE agent beat him up. I met Pakistani asylum seekers who confessed to me that he was making up his story. I met other people who were seeking refuge from Asia, Africa, Latin America, all over the world. And I remember every one of them, thanks to Clinic and CMS and support of all the friends in this country and beyond that have been able to continue this work. And so many people have burned out and left this profession, but only reason that I've been able to sustain my work is because of friendship and support from this network of people and committed to doing this work. And I think our work is human rights work through clinical work. Now I'm teaching, trying to pass the torch to my students to continue an important work. But our life continues, and I can't really say when I'm retiring, but I really do believe that the end is not near yet. We have many more years to work on improving refugee and asylum seekers' lives. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. And I don't know if I deserve this wonderful honor, but I'm so happy to be with you in person, finally, to meet you. Thank you very much.
One more.
Thank you very much. Okay.
That shows you how gracious Hiroko is to
Kasuda
be.
has an enormous heart. As a professor of law at Loyola Law School in New Orleans, she is nationally recognized as an expert in immigration. But it is her heart and her dedication to justice that shines the brightest. One of the greatest things about Hiroko is that if somebody calls and reaches out in desperation, Hiroko will answer that call. I get a lot of calls of people trying to find Hiroko, and when I pass them on, she says, I will talk to them. She may not be able to represent everybody in need, but she will listen to them, she will counsel them, and she will help everybody explore the options that are available to them. For decades, she's been an inspiration as a teacher, as a lawyer, as an organizer, and as a person committed to justice. I know of no one more deserving of this award. Congratulations to this year's award winner and my friend, Hiroko Kasuda.
Hiroko, congratulations. I think so highly of you. I'm so proud of you for receiving this award. I know it's a lifetime achievement. This is not the end. I mean, I hope you have many more years. But let me just say this, because I know it'll embarrass you. But and I don't mean to embarrass you, but I just want to say something true. That every day Jesuits pray at Mass for migrants, and around the world people pray for migrants. And what are we praying when we do that? Well, we're praying that someone will help them, someone will reach out and care for them. And so in a very beautiful way, you are the answer to our prayers. So God bless you for that. Thank you for being part of my life and teaching me how to serve immigrants. God bless you all. Have a great evening.
Hi, my name is Mary Crespo, and I am very happy to be here today to speak to you about a person who I truly respect, admire, and is very deserving of this award, Hiroko Kasuda. I met Hiroko when I was volunteering at the law clinic, or when I asked to volunteer at the law clinic. She interviewed me and asked me why I wanted to be a volunteer, and I said that I wanted to be people's voice, people who were like my parents who were immigrants. I remember that Hiroko took me on my first detention trip, and we were going to give this Know Your Rights presentation to the people who were detained, and then screen them to see if they were eligible for relief. When we got to the detention center, I learned very quickly that I did not want to be people's voice because there were so many people who needed a voice. And I learned a very powerful lesson that day from Hiroko, which was that it was a lot better for everyone if you help teach people to have a voice. It was better for them, and it felt really rewarding. So Hiroko, thank you for giving me a voice. Thank you for teaching me to teach others to have a voice. for valuing it, for understanding it, and for the ability to every day continue to grow. I owe that all to you. It is truly a privilege to talk to you about a person who has been so influential, not only in my life, but in the life of many. So today, I want to thank you for honoring a person who I believe is very deserving of this award. Thank you so much.
I was going to say you would have to be gracious to thank me for putting you in a job like that. That's we're very, very grateful tonight to be honoring the Viola Foundation and more broadly the philanthropic work of John Viola in the Viola family. As we'll hear, this is a family with very strong immigrant and Catholic roots. To mention just a few of their commitments, they've strongly supported Catholic education in many levels, including in the Diocese of Brooklyn. Bishop DiMarzio, I've heard rave about their commitments in Brooklyn. They've endowed the Avery Cardinal Dulles S.J. Chair on Catholic Theology at Fordham University. They've supported the Catholic Leadership Institute. They founded the Combating Terrorism Center at West Point, which produced very timely work on the importance of immigrants to our nation in the wake of the 9/11 attacks, when it was really important to do that. John Viola has said, "I come from a very old-fashioned Italian-American family. I was born in the same tenement house in Brooklyn where my father was born, and my father's mother was born. Both my father and my mother's families came from Italy, of course." John has also served as president and COO of the National Italian American Foundation. This is a family that's never forgotten its roots, and we're very pleased to be able to honor them tonight with our Immigrant Achievement Award.
Thank you. First of all, another well-deserved round of applause for Hiroko, who's actually in the trenches doing the work on these things. That's unbelievable. I can't see with the light. Hiroko, you're somewhere in... Okay, here. Whoever failed to send you the memo about the speech sent me the memo about the black tie. So, no, I'm just teasing. In truth, I made it up. I lied to all my friends because my wife and I have a 13-month-old daughter. It's our first child, and we don't... Yeah, thank you. Most nights we're in sweatpants, so I wanted to dress up. So this is our Oscars. I'm sorry. Thank you, Your Excellency, for including my family in this, my amazing friends and colleagues for coming out. I think at some point you're going to see a little bit about my parents, who really are the ones who created our family, our blessings, our foundation, and the work that we do. But I'm very blessed in that I have two younger brothers, both smarter and harder working than me. So they each run important portions of our core businesses and earn money. And I've been the lucky one who gets to go out and give it away, which I really love. And I've been able to dedicate my life, thankfully, to my passion for service, to the church, to my ethnic background, and my passion for anthropology and sociology, and the idea of dignity, which is why I'm so honored to accept on behalf of my family tonight at an organization that really appreciates what dignity truly means. I'm the grandson of immigrants. My beautiful wife is the daughter of immigrants. 3 of my business partners and closest friends are here tonight. They're all the children of immigrants. And so as a professional Italian American, I spend a lot of time talking about immigration. And we have a podcast, if you're Italian American. It's called the Italian American Podcast. Please listen. Leave us a good review on Apple. That'd be great. And we have listeners from all over the country, every age group. And we get these letters. And I never receive letters. I'm the least funny one on the show. Pat over there, he gets 25 letters a day. I got one. But I happen to get one from a guy from Virginia who he was like 7th or 8th generation American. His Italian ancestry was like 164th Italian. I'm making that number up. But they came over, I'm not making this up, as indentured servants to Filippo Mazzei, the Tuscan philosopher who gave Thomas Jefferson the line, "All men are created equal." That's true. And this guy wrote us this passionate letter about how proud he was to be Italian and how he makes his cappuccino every morning and he reads the Italian news. And I thought to myself, I mean, I love being Italian, obviously. I wouldn't mind being British for a day or Mexican for a day, a little change of pace, but this guy's seeking it out. Why? And I thought because it's great to be Italian in this country. We've got the best of both worlds. But it wasn't always like that, right? We were, not only were we different looking, different sounding, different smelling, we were Catholic. And I know the Irish were Catholic, but Jansenist Catholic and Italian follow the Saint Catholic are 2 completely different things. So we were radical, I'm sure. But now, there's a dignity to being Italian American. Somewhere along the line, through all the resistance, all the difficulty, lynchings, and the changes to immigration law, quotas, somewhere along the line, we became accepted, and we were given that dignity. And it dawned on me, and it's dawned on me forever, the thing I have the hardest time with in working in my own community is those who believe you can close the golden door after you. And that dignity should be there from the moment you leave where you're coming from, even before you get here. Because what I've learned in surrounding myself with my heritage and my ancestry, at least I hope I've learned, is that the decision to risk on yourself, to separate yourself from all of the good things in life, because I think that's the beauty of being Italian, frankly, is we're really good at the good things in life. Food, family, music, food. I mean, we do that better than anybody, but we know that. But to leave that behind and gamble on yourself, it's the core of what we are as a country, what we should be as a country. And just for making that decision, under any circumstances, you should have earned the dignity that is owed to every person who believes in and risks it all for the American dream. Because I know we have room to improve, but we are still the only country in the world where you can have a dream attached to that passport, that green card, and whatever it is. This is still a place where people can dream. I know it because I watched it. I lived it with my own family. So I don't really belong up here. My parents do, but they're in Florida because it's November. But I'm very happy to accept on their behalf. Thank you for all you are doing on this very, very important issue. Keep doing it, and I'll keep sending the money that my brothers earn for you to do as much as you can. So thank you very much.
I'm very happy this evening to be able to present, on behalf of the Center for Migration Studies, the Immigrant Achievement Award to the Viola Family Foundation, founded by Vincent Viola, his wife Teresa, and his 3 sons. The values that immigrants bring to our society are so important. The ability to give back to the society that welcomed them is something that the Center for Migration Studies has studied in many different ways. And so tonight, with great happiness, we are able to give this award to the Viola Family Foundation for the work they've done. Recently, they established a chair of Catholic theology at Fordham University named for Cardinal Dulles. Also, they have contributed to many philanthropic organizations, especially those dealing with education and human service needs. The family is one that has come from immigrant roots. Vincent's father was an immigrant. Actually, he served in the Second World War and inspired Vincent to follow a career in the military. He graduated from West Point, served in the military for several years, and then he went to law school. He began his business career in the New York Mercantile Exchange, where he rose up in the ranks and after several years became its chairman and innovated the exchange in many different ways. Tonight, we honor that ability for those who come from immigrant roots to give back to the society that has welcomed them. And so tonight, John, Vincent's son, is here to accept on behalf of the foundation the Immigrant Achievement Award.
Thank you, John, and the foundation. And now we're coming to the very end of our program, and I promise you this is the last time you have to put up with me. Tonight's honorees have been truly inspiring. Thank you again for participating in CMS's 2022 Hybrid Gala and joining us to honor the inspiring work and contributions of these migrant-serving leaders. It's been a pleasure to share their stories and their achievements with you tonight. At CMS, we look forward to a new day for refugee protection and immigration in which we will work together to build a common home. I invite you once more to support CMS's timely and important work by donating wherever the thing is, the menu, the link on the website, maybe it's a scavenger hunt, but the link is somewhere. And ask you, whether online or in person, to join us in making that contribution. Thank you all for being a part of the CMS family and community. We appreciate your time and your commitment, and we look forward to keeping connected with you through updates and virtual events in the coming months. Please check out our newly updated website, www.cmsny.org, to learn more about our upcoming events and publications. I hope that you've all enjoyed the presentations. Congratulations again to our honorees and all the sponsors who have made tonight's event possible. Now I'm going to invite Bishop DiMarzio back to the stage and then on to our dinner. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
I'm just simply going to say the names of 2 saints, and then you respond, pray for us. St. John Baptist Scalabrini, St. Francis Cabrini, God bless you.
I will be answering to the example of our saint, John Paul II, our Pope. When he was a student in the Second World War, he was in the theatrical groups, like do the theater in the church. And when war was start, some part of the young people, they would like with a weapon go and fight it with the Nazis. And John Paul II says, but me and some part of group, me, we would like to fight with the language, with the poetry, with the culture.
So we have like 2014, 15, after the started like war in Ukraine, for the Russian-Ukraine war. That's why we have like before we have a Ukraine school, the weekend survey, and after this the parents when asking me, you want to start it for the teach Ukraine dance, folk dance, and I say yes, and we start.
В Україні я на момент початку війни мені було 16 років. Я вчився в 11 класі і коли почалася війна, ми з мамою вирішили їхати до Польщі на тимчасово. Так.
He says that when he was in Ukraine and war was started, that Russia have aggression to Ukraine, that he have a 16-year-old. He just was in the 11th grade, and then invasion was worse and worse. Even they see that the missile would fly from their home. They make a decision to go to Poland, even they don't have a passport. So many immigrants who came another country, not only United States, they forget their language, their culture, especially children who was born here, because parents must work very hard and they don't have time for the children. And language and culture, they help them keep also faith.
В Україні я теж, я католик по вірі, і в Україні ходив до католицької церкви. І коли приїхав сюди, також почав ходити до католицької церкви, служу тут коло вівтаря і читаю читання на службі, допомагаю отцю.
He says that in Ukraine we are belonging to the Catholic Church, and they was going to Roman Catholic parishes. And also when he came here, he continued to be an altar boy here. Also he is like a lector in the Mass, in the Ukrainian Mass. And also when we organize some picnic, like Independence Days of Ukraine, he also help together with other people. It's a method like the Saint Benedict says, ora et labora in Latin, work and prayer. So when they go to the dance or singing, they are busy, they forget from this. When they are come to pray, because like I say, when the parents waiting children, when they dancing, so they step to the church and pray in the church. And it's helped them to little bit forget about this trauma, this koszmar.
Ми дуже раді, що в церкві є служби на різних мовах, і також на українській є кожної суботи служба. Дякую єпископу за таку можливість, щоб ходити на службу на своїй мові.
He says that he is very happy that Bishop, I think Bishop Nicholas Di Marzio, have an idea to do the Mass in our diocese will be in many languages. And he is very happy that, Mass is in the Ukrainian language, and he participates in this Mass. Thank you for Bishop Nicholas Di Marzio, that he have this great idea to make many ministers in our diocese, that each nationality, Spanish, English, Italian, Polish, Ukrainian, that they have not only priests who speak in their language, but they have priests from their own culture who understand exactly their needs, and their devotion.
чи є в них спальник.